Hey everybody, welcome back to FSi DFS, breaking down the 13-game monster, rainy, windy, weather-impacted slate of all the top bats that we want. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Can't wait to break it down. But before we get started, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. And then come join us here at FSi DFS. We got some NFL sales going on. I'm going to read it off here. We got the NFL preseason special to begin. You can purchase a month at the sale price of $25. And you get from preseason all the way through week 4. So you're getting almost a quarter of the season and preseason for just $25. And then we have a full season package for the NFL as well for only $100. That's it. The entire season for $100, where we have cash cores, GPP cores for all the main slates. That's on DraftKings and on FanDuel. We're going to be covering all of the primetime showdowns with cores. We're going to be offering NFL props as well for sports betting. So make sure you come check us out. Link is down in the description below. FSiDFS.com is our website. You can get the link to our Discord. If you have any questions, just message myself, McKinley412, or Megaroller on Discord, and we can get back to you and answer any questions that you do have. But baseball. Let's talk about baseball here. And we have 26 starting pitchers on the board. And it's ugly. There's really not a whole lot to get super excited about, but there is some. So let's look towards the bright side here at the start. And we'll start with Flaherty up at the top, 10.5K. It's expensive for any pitcher. But regardless, he's going to be the number one pitcher on the board. The floor that he brings, the upside that he brings, he's going to be the most popular owned pitcher on the slate. Wheeler, right below him, 10.2K. I think he's going to be a great GPP pivot. This is a guy who's an absolute workhorse machine. He's capable of going out there, getting 7 innings pitched, getting a whole bunch of strikeouts, has the upside of 7, 8, 9, 10 strikeouts. And he's going to see half the ownership that Flaherty is going to be getting. So I really do think that he's going to be a very nice GPP pivot. Garrett Crochet, we just can't play this guy. I don't know what the White Sox are doing. Instead of saying, hey, we're going to monitor your workload, and when the calendar turns September, we're going to shut you down completely, they're saying, you know what, let's just give him 3 innings, every single 5 games, and then pull him after 3 innings or 4 innings, and just, I don't understand what's going on. I'm kind of frustrated about it, but regardless, at 9.4K, you just cannot play him at this price. Rodon, I think this game's getting postponed. We have the Hurricane Debbie rolling up through the East Coast, and it's bringing heavy rain, heavy winds. I just don't see them getting a baseball game in here, so no interest there. If they somehow do get a game in, I'd actually rank him right behind Flaherty and Wheeler as my third favorite of the guys priced 9K and above. Blanco, not a whole lot of interest in righties against Boston, especially with heavy winds blowing out in Boston here today. I'm going to have a lot more interest in the Boston bats. And then Keller, facing off against the Dodgers. We don't really like playing against the Dodgers, but he's just kind of like the leftover. So, Rain, paying attention to the Yankees game, the Coors Field game, and the Boston game. And you can quickly see here on the stacks, these are my 4 favorite teams on the board, but they're all impacted by rain. It could see some postponements. Back up towards the pitchers. Again, Blanco more so leaned towards fade. Heading over into the mid-tier, we got Robbie Ray. He's going to be my favorite option, playing in the nice pitcher's ballpark of San Francisco, facing off against a very weak Detroit lineup. They don't have Riley Green. They're already weak with Riley Green. Take him out of the equation. I think Veerling's got some injury concerns going on as well, and he's day today. Let's pull him up here. Yeah, it's ugly. So they're so cheap. Oh my gosh. But not a whole lot of interest here in Detroit, but a whole lot of interest in Robbie Ray. And I think that Flaherty-Ray combination is going to be quite popular. After Ray, not a whole lot of guys that I would have interest in. I guess maybe Talon is going to be the guy from there. I don't want any of the wind issue guys. And then Barrios, just kind of the one leftover guy facing off against Oakland. But he doesn't bring a whole lot of upside. Miller. Did I completely skip over Miller here in my rankings? I did. He's not in there. I got Seattle bats here. How did I do that? Do I have Quintana? I don't have Quintana either. I somehow missed the pitching and putting him into the rankings here, but I have the bats down here. Not really too much interest in either of the guys. We'll just say that Quintana could have some strikeout upside facing off against Seattle. And then Miller, I'd lean him more down here towards Berrios. I might take Talent over him. Talent's just facing off against the White Sox, and the White Sox are just laughably, hilariously cheap. Or bad, not cheap, bad. And then head over into the cheap tier. Maybe Perez, maybe Cabrera. Perez facing off against Miami. Miami is so bad against left-handed pitching. They have been all season long. They got rid of their best bats. So is it a play that I'm excited about? Because, do I trust Perez at all? No. It's Miami. Facing off against the lefty, you're going to have some interest in Perez. Cabrera, he can bring some strikeout upside that a lot of these other guys can't bring. So maybe there's some interest with him there. However, he's facing off against San Diego. And again, if you watch these videos all season long, San Diego, not a very high strikeout rated team. So there's going to be some limitations with that. After that, I think it's a pretty big gap. And then Spence and Spears kind of rounding things off. And then just a whole lot of mess of ugliness. I just don't want to play it because of pitch counts or weather, or they're just bad pitchers in really tough matchups. Heading over towards the bats here. Coors Field could be impacted by rain. If it's not impacted by rain, really like Atlanta. Ozuna, probably my favorite batter on the board. Boston, we could have some heavy winds blowing out in Boston. Mentioned the Hurricanes bringing some strong winds up the East Coast. Could be some rain threats here, though, in Boston as well. So make sure you're paying attention to the radar right up until lock for some of those pop-up storms, because it's impossible to predict where the storms are going to be, or the bands are going to be during that time, during game time. So maybe they're able to squeeze in a couple of innings. But again, I don't expect them to be able to get a full game in here tonight. And then the Yankees, I think the Yankees game is the worst, and it's going to be getting postponed. I think it's good. It's the worst. I'm not a meteorologist, but just pay attention to the news throughout the day. Take all of those bats out, and I really want to play all of these bats because they're so good, but they're also very expensive. But take all of them out, and all of a sudden you get Philadelphia, who they have some expensive bats in there. But Kansas City, Minnesota, Milwaukee would be like three of my four other favorite stacks and plays on the day, and they're much more affordable. So it's not going to be super difficult to jam in a Robbie Ray and Jack Flaherty combination if all these games are getting, some serious rain threats and concerns or postponements on the day. Philadelphia, though, would then become my favorite stack on the board. I think they're capable. Well, I know they are. They are certainly capable of just absolutely mashing the ball and putting up a hefty run total on any given night. You can see their offense has been clicking as of late. Six or more runs scored in 4 of the past 5, and they even got 5 runs there. And that's somewhat against solid pitching of the Dodgers. But now Philadelphia is facing off against Nelson. Nelson allows a lot of hard contact, just to both sides of the plate, but definitely going to be focusing on the lefties. So if you are going to get 2 of these top 3 guys, you're not going to get all 3 of these top bats, but Schwarber and Harper would be the first 2 that I would be putting into your lineup. So really do like Philadelphia in that regard. After Philadelphia, maybe Milwaukee, Kansas City, and Minnesota would be the teams that I could be having interest in. Milwaukee's facing off against Spears. I just really like Milwaukee. They're just a consistently solid team who is also very hot as of late. 16, 8, 10 runs in their game against Atlanta. I'm not expecting those run totals. You can never expect those run totals. But still, they're a team that's very affordable, allowing you to get Jack Flaherty and allowing you to get Robbie Ray into your lineups. Milwaukee facing off against Cobb. I think is Cobb coming off the IL? I want to say Cobb's coming off the IL. Yeah, Cobb is coming off the IL. So maybe he doesn't get a super long leash, but still not a pitcher, or a pitcher that I do want to pick on, and a right-handed pitcher at that. Minnesota, they're just like Minnesota's like Boston light in that they can just load up their lineup with so many left-handed bats up and down that they are so good against right-handed pitching, and they have been, for years. So Minnesota, just like Boston, I'm going to have a whole lot of interest in them, and they come at a much, much more affordable discount. So Minnesota, and then Kansas City, St. Louis, like all these teams. Like I don't want either of the pitchers. I don't want Mikolas. I don't want Lorenzen, but I do want the hitters on both sides. Bobby Witt, he's been in the news because of his home road splits as of late. He's hitting 400 at home and only 284 on the road. Some say it's suspicious. Some say it's not. But yeah, he's kind of bad. He was the Twitter news as of yesterday. But yeah, hitting 400 at home, that's just insane. But Kansas City, they also have a lot of lefties that they can target against Mikolas and the right-handed pitcher that he is. Pasquantino, one of the hottest hitters in baseball as of late. He's hitting 364, averaging 15 DK points. He's still sub 5K. You got Massey, left-handed. He could be leading off for Kansas City, so I really do like them as well. Kansas City, just as a full stack, is fantastic. Really like Minnesota as well. And on the other side, I do like St. Louis. To go along with Milwaukee as some cheap guys. Even Oakland, I mentioned that Oakland could be, I mentioned that, oh my gosh, here we go. I have interest in Berrios, but it's something that I'm not super excited about. We have seen the upside that Oakland can bring with their bats, so they are certainly in play too. Leverage stacks, it's going to be San Francisco, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Arizona. These are really, the teams that I'm expecting. Hang on, San Francisco? Who are they facing off again? No, not San Francisco. They're not supposed to be there. Having the wrong thing. Facing off against Herder. They like to pinch hit their guys a lot. They're in a pitcher's ballpark. Fitzgerald's just on an absolute tear, but 5K is getting expensive for him. Chapman, who would have interest in him. They got a lot of lefties throughout their lineup. I'm trying to think of where I want to rank San Francisco. I'd maybe go like a Oakland, San Francisco kind of deal here, and then all these guys get put up here as the bats that are going up against the higher owned pitchers. There we go. We did it. So hopefully, sorry, that was a little bit scrambled, but hopefully this is still able to guide you in the right direction on where I'm heading towards and where I think it should be heading, where you should be heading towards. But again, pay attention to rain, weather, winds. It's going to be impacting the slate quite a great deal in some of the most high impact games. That didn't sound right. But the Yankees, we want to play the Yankees, Coors Field, and Boston, and they're all the three most important weather games. So good luck. Sorry about the chaos of all this video, but hopefully, again, it was able to direct you in the right direction, and we'll see you in the next one.